It's date night and I'm waiting for Grace to get home from work, so I thought I'd show you my outfit. This is just what I was wearing to work today, like a little white t-shirt, parachute pants, super comfy, but I thought if I just accessorize a little bit more, it could be kind of cute, right? So I made this scrunchie free pattern on the Material Grrrlz YouTube channel. I'll link that below. Just added some bits and bobbles jewelry. These shoes Grace got from me in the US at Marshall's for like $15. What a deal. This other jacket was my grandma's. Isn't it great? Grandma had style. Statement piece of tonight is this Teddy Blake bag, which they just sent to me this morning, and I was like, it's gorgeous. It's going out with me tonight. I love that it's a bright color, but also has the like animal texture on it. But then I was wearing this scrunchie today, and I was like, should I swap it out for this orange and white one to match, right? This is going to be the next pattern in Material Grrrlz crochet scrunchie, and if you unfurl it, it's a checkerboard, but if you wear it like this, it's just kind of like a fun multicolor little look. So I don't know, but then I was holding it up and I was like, is that a little too self-insistent with the orange and orange? I'm a big fan of like wrong shoe theory. I see this on TikTok all the time. People say like wrong shoe theory, the shoe that looks the worst and seems like it matches the least your outfit is the one you should wear because it looks like then you have style, you know, you're making a decision. And I feel like that applies to bags, right? Like if you're gonna have a statement somewhere, make it your bag. So I'm kind of leaning towards like no to that, just keep it simple and then boom, beautiful bag. It's nice this weekend. We'll take some walks. I'm going to see a textile exhibition in Mile End. I don't really know much about it other than that it's a textile exhibition. It's supposed to be good. So I'll insert some clips of that. Oh my gosh, today I posted the announcement of the Paris workshop, which I think I mentioned in the end of my last video, but it's like official. Tickets are out. I'm so geeked. I can't believe that this like opportunity happened. I met someone at Material Grrrlz Club who lived in Paris but was visiting London and came to Material Grrrlz Club and said, we like what you're doing. Like I have this connection to this bar. Do you want to collaborate? And I said, yeah, I absolutely want to put on a knitting club in Paris. So it's happening. That's like the big exciting news of today. I also had a meeting today with Elena who runs Craft Forward. If you're in London, you've probably been to one of her great workshops, and we're gonna work on a little event together as well. So all good things. Ended Friday on a great note, honestly. Good day of work, and now it's time to head out. I made charcuterie for Grace and I to enjoy together before we go. So hope you all have a good weekend. Let's knit together for a sec. I don't really have much of a project to show. I'm working on the very, very beginnings of a Prima pullover by Star-Crossed Knits. I think I showed exactly this much done in a video like weeks ago, and I haven't done a single row more, but this is where we're headed right now. I just wanted to share, though, a very beautiful interaction that I had recently because it just warmed my heart. So basically when I'm filming this, it is at the end of Lesbian Visibility Week, and every Lesbian Visibility Week I am reminded to talk about this zine that I created, which I don't talk about very often, but I'm very proud of it. 4 years ago when I came out as a lesbian, I made this zine that I'll put somewhere on the screen, but it's titled something incredibly lengthy. I'm going to try to remember it. Are you actually attracted to men, or do you just crave their validation because you live in a patriarchal society? Turns out I was a lesbian all along, and you might be too. I never claimed to be brief. I'm very proud of the zine. It's basically meant to be a more nuanced version of an Am I Gay quiz. The questions are a lot more open-ended than the ones you would find on BuzzFeed or something. Basically, before I came out as a lesbian, I was identifying as bisexual, and I had a lot to grapple with in figuring out whether I was actually into men, like gonna fall in love with a man, or just because of compulsory heterosexuality, which it ended up being, and I think I learned a lot in that process. And it was also hard. I was grappling with so much that I wanted to make something to get it all out and fully realize all the things that I was thinking about. So I made this zine, and I'm very proud of it, and it's up for free on my website. I'll link it down below. It's up there. I just don't talk about it very much, I guess. You can also get it on Etsy for a few dollars in my Etsy shop if you want to just donate some money to a lesbian, I guess, but it is always up for free on my website. And someone got it this week and sent me this beautiful email saying, I am 43 years old and I have my first girlfriend, and this zine spoke to me so much. She said she had been with a man, like married a man, throughout all of her 20s and 30s, and it wasn't until she was 37 when she left and realized she's a lesbian. She has a girlfriend, and she said this zine was just like validating in kind of understanding like why it took her so long to come to that and to realize that. And it was just a very sweet note, and she included some screenshots of messages between her and her girlfriend. And she had sent her girlfriend the zine and kind of said, you know, what she found validating about it, and then wrote this nice note about just how much she loves her and their relationship. And then the girlfriend responded saying like, thank you for sharing this with me. I'd love to know what you're thinking about all this stuff. And then another sweet note about how much she loved their relationship and signed it, "Your very lucky girlfriend." And it was just very sweet. I got the message when I was out at a pub with Grace, my girlfriend, and it was like, I don't know, 9 p.m. on a Friday, and I got this message and we're both sitting there with our beers like tearing up because I just love lesbians. I love lesbian community, and that was so special to see, like something that I'm very proud of it, but it came out of a time of my life kind of turning over in a lot of ways. Like I realized all this about myself during the pandemic. It was very lonely. I feel like this scene was kind of like my last release and like the struggle that it took to turn over all these ideas and realize what I wanted. And just to see that it, you know, meant something like that to someone else, especially someone who had, you know, a long history of marrying men, and that this helped them untangle something, was very touching and very meaningful to me. And it's a great day to be a lesbian. I just feel like my life has only gotten, you know, more full of love and light and community ever since I stepped into lesbianism. My yarn is tangled. I got it like stuck inside of my, I really should just cut it, but basically I had it somehow inside of my hoop when I closed the round, and so now I can't get it out without cutting it, and now it's all tangled up. So maybe that's my sign to end this here, but I just wanted to share that because there's so much love in the world, and I just thought that was very sweet, and it made me emotional. So beautiful morning this morning, so I thought I'd bring the book review outside today. I have been reading Ways of Curating by Hans Ulrich Obrist, and I picked this up because he's a major curator in the space right now, and I think he's not even like 60 years old, but he's done a bunch of stuff, and whenever you go to big art museums, he has, you know, books like this there. I got this at, I think, the Tate, and he's interviewed a bunch of really famous artists and publishes the conversations that he has with them, and I think his latest claim to fame is running the Serpentine Gallery in London. So I thought probably have some knowledge about ways of curating, and honestly, it was pretty average. I didn't love it. The first half was pretty good. He talks a lot about like working with artists and what he thinks the relationship between curators and artists should be, but the second half was honestly just kind of a bore, and it's a lot of name dropping of like white male artists that he's worked with, which I just don't find that like entertaining or educational. Like I wanted to learn something. I would say like if you're interested in curation and you come across it, I guess flip through, give it a read. It's pretty short, and what I found most valuable about it was just that it goes through a lot of different exhibitions that he's done, and a lot of them are non-traditional, as in like not in a white cube gallery, not just like putting paintings up on a wall. And I think that a big part of thinking about curation and exhibitions is just like expanding your mind and thinking about the possibilities of ways to present art to people. So helpful always to just like hear more examples of that, but that was kind of my main takeaway from this. Overall, like not overly inspiring, but it did get me thinking about museums again, because it's been a while since I read a book like that, like since college, and that was something I was really interested in college, was, you know, the way that we present art to people. I was in an art program and also doing education courses, so I thought a lot about like making art accessible, and I think that's a big responsibility of curators, to create exhibits that give people a point of entry and help them feel like they can accessibly understand and enjoy the art that is there. And something nerdy about me is that I like to collect little museum like didactic materials when I find them that I think are good. So I thought I'd show you some of those today that I found inspiring. One of the first times where I think I realized how important and powerful curation is when it's done really well and really intentionally was in one of my favorite classes that I took in college, which was called Decolonizing the Museum. One of the first examples that we had and read about and learned about was this exhibit called Minding the Museum, which was done by an artist called Fred Wilson. And it happened in the early 90s at the Maryland Historical Society. And basically, Fred Wilson went in and created this installation using pieces that were already in the collection of the museum. So it was all these historical objects, but the way that he curated and installed them really shed different lights on the stories that are usually told with those historical objects. And a lot of it related to the history of slavery in Maryland. And so, for example, one of the really famous pieces that is in that exhibition, and I would recommend like looking at pictures of the other things that are in there because was so amazing. He placed a bunch of different metalwork pieces all in this glass box, and some of them are very ornate, like silverware that you would use at like a dining table, and then some of them are shackles that were used on slaves, and they're all in the same metal box or glass box. And then at the front it just says metalwork 1700 to 1800, like whatever the exact years were that all of it was from. And so it's presenting these historical objects, but I think that's the first time I realized like how powerful curation can be when you align objects in a certain way. It not only helps people understand, you know, a story and a history, but it also sheds new light on those objects that they have new meaning than they would have if you had seen them separately when you put them together like that. And it's so powerful. So Fred Wilson Mind the Museum was my like museum intervention origin story. I was so inspired by that. And at the end of that class, my final project was a zine called Not Your Pretentious Curator's Museum Guidebook. And it's up for free on my website if you want to look at it. I haven't looked at it in a few years now, but I'm feeling, like I said, re-inspired. Basically, it is meant to be a guidebook through a museum that has very open-ended questions in it, and it starts when you're outside the museum, and then in the lobby, and then in the exhibit, and then looking at pieces, and kind of prompts with a little bit of background on modern like museum controversies that people are talking about, gives some background on those, and then prompts open-ended questions for whoever is in the museum to engage with them and kind of judge whether they think the museum is dealing with those controversies in an effective way or not. I really enjoyed making that, and I think that was part of what kind of got my interest in like museum didactic materials, because I love obviously a good exhibition statement that like sets you up to enjoy an exhibition, but I especially love when like exhibition booklets are given out, and especially interactive ones that really not only like give background information and help you engage with things, but I think just like having resources like that makes it seem so much like more welcoming. Like, we want you here, we want you to engage with this, and we made this to help you engage with this. So the few that I have on hand now are, this is a sketchbook from the Tate, and I got this at the Tate Britain, and it's meant for children, but I wish more stuff like this was given out to adults. So you go inside of it, and it's just like very engaging. It says, hello, welcome to Tate, the sketchbook is for you. As you flip through, there are different things to like draw and write in to kind of like engage with the museum. So it starts with like drawing a picture of yourself. It explains different ways to look at art, which I think is so important, because I think a lot of people like aren't taught how to look at art, because people expect that like you either get it or you don't, and when you look at it you're either inspired or you're not, and that's not true. Like, you can look closely, you can look from far away, like you can look at the subject matter, or you can think about the materials. Like, there's just so many different things, and I wish that there was more breaking down of like helping people find that point of entry of finding something to enjoy in art. Wow, let's think about colors. And it says like, can you make up names for these colors? Like, what pieces do you see these colors in around you? Finding shapes in the pieces of art and collecting them in your bag and drawing them here. This one I got at the Ai Weiwei Making Sense exhibition that was at the Design Museum in London a year ago. It's a little fortune teller, or like, I called these cootie catchers. I don't know if that's like a Midwestern thing. We made these at Material Grrrlz Club a few months ago, and everyone had like 5 different names that they had called them growing up. So I said cootie catchers, but I think the like most basic one is fortune tellers. But anyway, so you play the little fortune teller game. When you open it up, there's a question. So for example, this says, is there an object in your life that is useless but valuable? Why does that matter to you? So it prompts conversation. And then when you open it up, it has a quote from the artist and then an artwork to go see that like it relates to. So this says, by changing the meaning of the object, shaking its foundations, we are also changing our own condition. We can question what we are. artwork number 30, glass helmet. So then you would like walk over to see that piece of art, continue your conversation. A more fun way to like move around an exhibit than just being like, this is on this wall, now I'm looking at the next one, now I'm looking at the next one. Like I went with Grace and we were playing with this, and it prompted, you know, interesting conversations we wouldn't have thought of, and we kind of jumped around to different stuff in the exhibit as a result. So that is just cool. Like make museums fun, you know? So anyway, those are just like 2 things that I had on hand, but when I see a good one, I like to snatch it because I find those very inspiring. And these are obviously from like really big museums. I'm not saying like the Tate and the Design Museum are really breaking down barriers to museums with their interventions, but I do think it's helpful because people travel from all over the world to go to those museums and should feel like they're welcome there and have a place and a point of entry. And yeah, so that's my little nerdy confession today, is that I collect museum didactic materials. In other exciting book news, Material Grrrlz is starting a book club, and this video will come out before it's like officially announced because there's going to be a page in the next issue of the magazine, which comes out on May 12th. It explains kind of what it's about, but because this has been such a positive book space and kind of where I started talking about books and was excited to see that there are other people who are interested in having these conversations about craft and art and politics and visual politics, I just wanted to like share that because I've been working on it with Grace for a while, and it's just exciting, and I'm excited for it to get out there and to see, you know, what the reception is and what kind of conversations it prompts. So it's going to be called Knit Lit, which was Grace's idea. She always comes up with genius names. She named them Material Grrrlz, actually. And in the issue of the magazine, we're going to announce the first 2 book picks, but it's going to be a monthly book club. Get in the Geneva chat now, because that's where we're going to be chatting about things. I think it's going to be really positive. I'm looking forward to a place to like really discuss things, because I feel like I've been enjoying reading about all this and then kind of sharing my thoughts out into the internet, and I get to see, you know, people's comments, and I love engaging with those. But to be able to like talk in real time about something that we're all learning together, I think will be really positive. So Knit Lit coming your way May 12th. If you have any ideas for what that looks like or what you'd like to see from a space like that, please do let me know, because it's obviously very in the early stages, but I'm really excited to launch that. In lieu of any actual fiber art projects to show you, I thought I would show you a bit behind the scenes of like how I make Material Grrrlz magazine, because this week I finished the latest issue, which is Q2 2024, and I just sent it to print, and I'm loving how it's looking. So I have it here on my laptop, and I thought I'd show you a bit of like the interface, but I use Adobe InDesign, like the creative suite, so a mix between InDesign and Photoshop to make the magazine. In Photoshop, I mostly just like cut out backgrounds because the style of the magazine is very like cut and paste, stickery, collagey. And then I do the whole layout in InDesign, which is pretty standard graphic design software. I didn't really mean to get into graphic design stuff. I took a graphic design course, just like an intro foundations course, during a January term in college, because as a part of my art degree, I had to do one digital art course. And I've never like loved digital art. It's just not like a medium that I felt myself like super expressive in. So it's kind of ironic now that like a major part of my job in art practice is layout and graphic design. And I feel like I've put my own like spin on it. Like I definitely stuff in the magazine that my teacher would not like as like graphic design principles, but it's all just about being scrappy and collagey and cute, and I'm having fun with it. So the InDesign interface here, and this I'm kind of on like preview mode, but if I go like that, you can kind of see how I've laid everything out on the page. This is going to be the cover of the magazine. All I've done is remove backgrounds from all of these pictures and then collage them. She is coming out May 12th, so you'll see this video before it's out. I'll give you a little sneak peek at what we're doing in it. So here we've got little interactive fuck, marry, kill activity. I'm hard at work on patterns in this issue. So this top here is the sewing pattern, the ruffle smock top, the shorts I made kind of like separately, but just in the same fabric, and I'll post a separate YouTube video on how I did those. But this is going to be a self-drafted top in here. Meet the Material Girl. I was so excited to interview Camille, and I don't know if you've seen these tops on Instagram, but they're so iconic, so we get to hear a bit about that. For crochet and knit patterns, we're doing hair accessories. So this is a checkerboard crochet scrunchie. This is a scrappy knit scrunchie. And then down here, We've got a crochet bow and another knit scrunchie, but it has like a bow and some ruffles around. Very cute. I'm not gonna show it all because I still want something to be like exciting to release, but we got some good stuff in here, including like just a lot of cool features and people that I got to work with for this issue. So let's do a little sneak peek. This issue is getting printed right now and it'll get shipped to my studio, and then I ship out all of the envelopes myself. So I've been filling out addresses on my little pink envelopes all week, and I think they're all done now. So I'll just have to stuff them and get them out to all of you. And I'm very excited to share this issue. The launch party is the week after that in Paris. So if you're in Paris and you want to come celebrate the launch, get a copy of the magazine, come on through. Looking forward to some big workshops in May. So coming up in the next video, you'll see another Material Grrrlz club, the first in a series of upcycling workshops. I'll be getting ready for Paris. I'll be starting the next issue. So lots to look forward to. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to see more of what I'm making, working on, doing, and I'll be excited to see you in the next one.